Hello everyone! The TeruShouEnnoTana vacation continues, and it wouldn't be fun if it all was just fluff and good stuff, right? As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons, members, and all of you who still watch my videos. Don't forget to subscribe to keep up with the uploads, and check out the members only posts with jealousy and confession series. As the evening approached, the skies darkened and snow quickly started to fall heavier, more than Dasha would like. He watched the falling snowflakes with growing worry, shivers running down his back whenever a strong gust of wind whistled through the chimney. The chalet was sturdy, he wasn't worried about that, but getting stuck in what looked likely to develop into a massive snowstorm wasn't his ideal picture of vacation. Every time. Why is there always something bad happening when I look forward to things? He subconsciously huddled deeper into the borrowed hoodie, clinging to the muffled voices and splashing coming from the lower floor instead of the possibly gloomy reality. The two, Tanaka and Terushima that is, didn't waste a single moment and took the pool head on, spending most of the day swimming and diving like two fish. Dasha went to spend a moment there as well, even if only soaking his feet, and couldn't blame the two for enjoying the pool to the fullest at all. He just wished he could join them properly. Alas. Have they called already? Dasha shivered as another gust of wind howled through the chimney, instinctively leaning into Enoshita's side. Few minutes ago. Said the people at the station brought it in, so they'll deliver it tomorrow if the weather won't get too bad. Thank goodness for that. Dasha nodded, more than relieved his things weren't lost or stolen. However, with the snow falling so heavily, I'm just worried about the weather. Yeah, looks like the roads might get difficult. But as long as they deliver it before we leave, it's fine. I saw a washing machine downstairs, so we can do laundry in case we run out of clothes to borrow you. He gently ran his fingers through Dasha's hair. Don't worry about it, it's okay. He can manage. I know, it just... Why does there always have to be some issue? Wouldn't be fun without some mishaps. Surprised by his light tone, Dasha looked up, finding Enoshita smiling at him, and then leaned into the hand cradling his cheek, earning a very light kiss on the tip of his nose. Don't worry about it, seriously. As long as we are all together, everything is fine. And as long as our lovely dumbasses are having fun. To that, Dasha couldn't resist a smile either. The laughter coming from the pool warming his heart. Maybe that's what made vacations with one's partners unique. Not the picture-perfect holiday time, but the little things that made them smile. Although, with all that said, he hoped there were no more trouble brewing for them during the upcoming week. Well, that doesn't seem like it's going to go away anytime soon. Frown settled on his lips as he glared out of the window at the still raging snowstorm and the barely visible but very much present piles of snow, which, together with the sudden drop in temperature, prevented them from going outside for longer than a few minutes. It was becoming a rather familiar sight in the last 2 days, unfortunately for their plans. And while they managed to find fun inside by spending time in the pool, playing games, or just settled around the fireplace together, the fact they couldn't go out even for a short walk was obviously starting to make Tanaka and Terushima restless. Dasha too found it difficult to stay still for longer periods of time, his nerves strained by the constant howling of the wind and the all-consuming white screen in front of the windows. I guess that's to be expected when going into the mountains in winter. He plopped down into one of the armchairs, and Dasha flinched. Sorry. Oh, no, that wasn't supposed to be a complaint. He sprang up from the chair just as quickly, kneeling down in front of Dasha. You couldn't know the weather would be this shitty. I just thought it would be pretty in winter. It is. I'm sure it's going to clear out soon. How long can a blizzard like this last? Yeah, exactly. He reached for Dasha's hand, but quickly withdrew it back when Dasha flinched from the touch. Sorry, too fast? No, it's... He searched for the right words to explain himself, but he wasn't sure himself why the usually pleasant touch suddenly scared him. Why every louder sound made him jump now. Or why even thinking about staying in the dark made his heart race and body freeze. Hiroshima gave him a soft smile, the hint of sorrow in his eyes constricting his chest. It's fine, you don't have to explain it. Just tell us if something makes you uncomfortable. He wished it was that simple. But what was he supposed to say when he had no idea what was happening? All while being careful to not hurt his boyfriend's feelings. As if he could just demand more from them when they were already walking on eggshells around him ever since they started dating. As if it wasn't enough they had to occupy 2 rooms because of him instead of sleeping in one bed as one would expect from couples. He clutched the hoodie in his fist, digging his fingers into the fabric, unable to look into anyone's eyes. It's alright. I'm fine. He didn't convince anyone with that, he knew without even looking up. The silence that settled around them was enough of an answer, and he had never wished to be invisible more than in that moment. It would save his loved ones so much mental strain if they just didn't have to look at him, or look out for him constantly. How about we cook something? It's late anyway, so might be a good time to start on dinner. It was a clearly desperate attempt to make him unravel from his shell, since cooking was the only thing he could contribute to their relationship. But he appreciated it nonetheless. Why not? Okay, I'm in. Are you now? And what exactly do you plan on helping by? So, rude much? Moral support also counts as help. Sure, if you say so. In a rather childish manner, Tanaka swung at him, which Terushima elegantly avoided and then stuck his tongue out at him, prompting a little chase, as they had tendency to do. Enoshita watched them with an exasperated sigh, only calling at them to be careful with the furniture. But seeing the light-hearted chaps fly back and forth eased some of the tension settled around Dasha's heart. Enough so he didn't hesitate for longer than a split second when Enoshita offered him his hand to then lead him into the small kitchen. He could feel them, the disembodied hands sliding over his skin, touching, groping, hurting. It made him want to scratch his skin raw, tear it off just to get rid of the crawling feeling the hands left behind. No matter how much he pleaded, they never disappeared, never stopped touching him, leaving invisible scars all over his body. He wanted to cry, but his tears had long dried out, depleted by the long hours of pain and fear. He wanted to scream, call for help in hopes someone would hear him and get him out. But all he managed was a weak, barely hearable whimper before even that little sound got caught in his aching throat. And the hands still didn't leave, playing with him as if he was nothing more than a doll created for desire of others. A broken sob tore from his throat, the mocking, overly sweet chuckle sounding by his ear making his stomach roll. Stop, please stop, leave me alone. What a good boy you are, Suguru. Please stop. Suguru. Stop. Suguru, wake up. He opened his eyes with a startled cry, welcomed by soft darkness. Suguru. He flinched when a warm hand touched his cheek, everything crashing back to him like one giant wave. Don't! Unlike before, the hand disappeared, yet he scrambled away, his heart thundering in his ears. His voice was back. He could call for help now. Someone would come to help him for sure. He couldn't... Wait! He yelped when the bed disappeared under him, the impact sending a painful wave through his back. There was more movement now above him, chasing him to back away more. His breath got caught in his throat when his back pressed against the cold wall. Please don't! With a soft thud, a figure slid on the floor in front of him, kneeling down by the bed. I'm not going to hurt you, I swear. Please don't be scared. The gentle, so familiar voice pierced through the dark around him, as well as the mist clouding his mind. Chica. The shadow nodded, leaning over to the bedside table to turn on the little nightlight that turned off for some reason. The soft light soon created a small circle around them, revealing the gentle, yet so sorrowful smile on Enoshita's lips. Just me. It's okay, I promise. You had a nightmare again, but you are safe here, I swear. His vision hazed, the urge to claw on his skin until the pain overpowered everything else, including his memories, slowly subsiding. He still dug his nails into his biceps, curling into a ball in the corner. Sorry. Enoshita shook his head, his expression pained. You have nothing to be sorry for. You can't help it. Can I sit with you, or do you not want any touches now? Dasho hesitated for a long while. Just imagining having someone's hands on him again made his skin crawl. But at the same time... He gave a jerky nod, an involuntary whine leaving his mouth when Enoshita moved to sit next to him, keeping space between them but still close enough he could feel the warmth of his body. Is it okay like this? Yes. Alright. Take a deep breath, okay? Slowly. In and out. Taking a shaky breath, Dasha followed the many times used breathing exercise. I'm not sure it came to Enoshita like a second nature nowadays. His heartbeat did slow down a little, although his hands still trembled despite being firmly clenched on the borrowed night t-shirt. Better? A bit. Okay, that's good. Do you want to talk about it? He shook his head, feeling nauseous with just the reminder of the night terrors. Enoshita hummed in response and leaned his back against the wall, a heavy sigh escaping his mouth. It's not getting better, is it? He's still hurting you, even when he's already rotting in prison. Chills ran down Dasha's spine despite knowing the fury in Enoshita's voice wasn't aimed at him at all. It was anger at his behalf, similar to the one he had seen his father simmer with years ago. Yet, even after 2 years of dating, he still couldn't get used to hearing it cloud Enoshita's usually so calm demeanor. Although not just Enoshita's. He had already seen Ryu furious when he protected him. Same with Yuji when he shielded him from insensitive questions. It was sweet, something that kept the hope within him alive despite the occasional setbacks. But the truth was unchanging. He was nothing more than an anchor, a boulder holding them back. just like he was holding Enoshita back now. I'm sorry. Suguru. I woke you up. Again. And even after I forced you to be stuck here with me. He squeezed his eyes shut to avoid meeting Enoshita's gaze, the sour reminder stinging deep inside his chest. There was another reason why they occupied 2 rooms. No one said it out loud, but it wasn't difficult to guess why they chose to use the 2 rooms furthest away from each other, nor why the first thing Tanaka checked was how thick the walls were. Dasha couldn't blame them, and he appreciated the lengths his boyfriends went to spare him listening to their fun times, here and at home. He just wished it wasn't needed. You could have fun instead of being stuck with me. It hurt, but that's what truth usually felt like. His eyes snapped open when a warm hand caressed his cheek, the soft smile curling Enoshita's lips, cutting off any protest he might have thought of. I'm not stuck. If I wanted to get railed, I would go there. But I want to be here, with you. Why? Because it's nice to be with you. It's peaceful. I do think we love spending time with you. How can it be peaceful when I'm waking you up all the time? He looked away, only to have Enoshita gently turn his head back to face him. That's not your fault. Or do you want me to move to the other room? No, He swallowed a frustrated whimper, letting his head fall on his knees. I wish I could be available for you too. Just the prospect of being intimate with anyone rushed cold dread through his body, despite that someone being one of his boyfriends, someone he loved and trusted more than anything. He wanted to try, bite his tongue and push his boundaries to finally try being normal again. But the fact was, it would end in disaster. All 4 of them knew that, hence why they didn't even ask him to join anything requiring more than a mere hug. You don't have to force yourself. When it comes to physical stuff, I have those 2 dumbasses to fuck my brains out when I want that. Same goes the other way around. You don't have to do anything like that. Because he couldn't. Because he was broken. You don't want... The me got caught in his throat. Flash of panic sending cold dread through his body with the reminder of an answer he got before to a similar question. He knew it was the case anyway, didn't he? Nothing changed. It was just a question of time before even the people who loved him wouldn't be willing to wait for him to get better anymore. The years before he managed to escape took care of it, made him undesirable and doomed to eventually disappoint everyone he formed a romantic relationship with. Gentle hand caressed his cheek again, the warmth and comfort seeping from the touch urging him to lean into it. He looked up, meeting with the same soft eyes he knew so well now, telling him Enoshita knew exactly what he wanted to say. I do. I want you so bad, you have no idea. But not that much to steamroll over your boundaries. Slowly, as if giving Dasho time to back away, he leaned their foreheads together, caressing small circles into his skin. You can take all the time you need, we'll wait. Even if you won't ever be able to sleep with us, it's okay. We'll still love you, just as much as now. What we do or don't do in bed has nothing to do with it. It sounded so good, so loving and sweet that maybe, if he tried enough, Suguru could believe it was true. He hadn't realized he was crying until Enoshita brushed his thumbs under his eyes to wipe the tears away, and just a second or two later, he found himself in one of his safe spaces, clinging to Enoshita's t-shirt while engulfed by his arms. You don't have to rush yourself, love, okay? Promise me you won't force yourself into anything for our sakes. Please. Suguru just nodded, unable to find his voice between his shaky breaths. But that much seemed to be enough for Enoshita, his hands drawing calming patterns into his back. How long they sat in the corner, he wasn't sure. But if it was up to him, he would never want to let go. A soft whine sounded from his throat when Enoshita pulled away. Let's go outside for a while. But the storm cleared. Look. Come on, it's going to be awesome. Following Enoshita's pointer, Suguru glanced out of the window, and indeed, there was no howling wind anymore, and only a few big snowflakes gently falling to the ground. And so he let Enoshita wipe his eyes again, pull him to his feet and wrap him in a thick blanket, following him onto the lower floor and outside on the wooden patio attached to the chalet. He shivered despite the blanket, his still damp cheeks chilling deep into his skin. But all of that was forgotten the moment he looked up to the sky. Seems like we are far enough from light pollution. Suguru nodded wordlessly, his lips parting at the sight of thousands and thousands of stars shining in the dark skies among the hints of Milky Way. It's beautiful. Yeah, it is. Feeling Enoshita's gaze on him, Suguru turned to him with a question halfway out of his mouth. And that's where it stayed, frozen on his tongue by the look full of amazement and love. They mirror in your eyes. That makes them even more beautiful. He reached up, removing an unruly strand of hair from Suguru's forehead. You look so pretty when you are amazed, and even more when you like something. Feeling his cheeks heating up, Suguru averted his gaze, but didn't move from the touch. Do you really think that? Yeah. So, please keep loving things, okay? Keep loving us. His brain short-circuiting, Suguru gaped at him speechless, a wave of emotions he had no name for crashing into him all at once. It ached. It tugged on his heart like nothing he had ever experienced before. And yet it was warm too, filling him with hope for things he didn't even know he could want a minute ago. He bit on his lip and then turned his gaze back to the stars, his voice coming out quiet, but with all sincerity he had in him. I will. I promise. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Oh man, I missed those four so much, and I missed pushing the story forward, so I'm super happy it's finally going again, and it's going to go on for a while again. Anyway, it wouldn't be fun without Dasho's nightmares, so I had to include this one, just because I like to torture my poor boy. And more stuff to come. There are 2 more parts, which should be coming out next week, so I hope you are looking forward to that. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time!